morning, everybody. How are you all doing? Sam here, United People's TV. We're live, we're direct. It's Thursday. We've got Spurs away on Saturday. We will be speaking about that. Not really too much in this show. We'll speak about that tomorrow. I've got my predicted 11 going out later today. But the main topic for today is going to be the Mason Greenwood situation, right? We're going to speak about it as a community. I haven't really spoken about this too much live with you because it's a very difficult thing to talk about. But I feel that we can have a conversation today after what happened yesterday with the Athletics article around Manchester United staff being told that Mason Greenwood would return, Manchester United releasing a statement, everything that's happened there. We can have a conversation about that all this morning. Then after that, we're going to be speaking about Gravenberch and Amrabat. We all know that Amrabat, he wants United. He's basically sitting there listening to Glory, Glory, Man United in his Man United pajamas, waiting for the call. Well, he's not. He basically is. We'll speak about him. We'll speak about Gravenberch as well. Now, Gravenberch is a name that I've mentioned quite a few times, and it makes perfect sense. And now the stories are coming out. And I'm kind of surprised it didn't come out earlier, really. But I'll speak about all of that, and we'll speak about it as a community. Who's down here in the comments? Have a look for the members. We've got Ronan Doherty. How you doing, buddy? Saeed, Doc Jossie. You got Stu. You got Alex Caston. You got Ant. You're there. How you doing, buddy? Josh. Timothy asking, why are you late? More to the point, why are you saying I'm late? Because I'm never late. I'm always here at 10:00. Well, somewhere between 10:03 and 10:04, and occasionally 10:05. I'm pretty consistent. There's like a 2-minute gap where I pretty much start every time. Paramount, good morning to you. Bully Stephanie, who's on Facebook. David Carroll, good morning to you. Got Fuad. We've got Musa, Ian Cartwright. We've got Grant, Stephen, and Steve Chuck Woody. Chuck Woody? Chuck Woody. Good morning, everybody. This is going to be, obviously, the thing I want to say before I start speaking about this Mason Greenwood situation is just be respectful in the comments, all right? It's exactly why I turned the comments off on the video that I did at the weekend, because I didn't want it to turn into a cesspit in the comments. But there's updates. Why? Are there updates? Yeah, I suppose there are updates. That's what happened yesterday, and I want to speak about it with you as a community this morning. Let me pull this up so I don't miss anything before we get into the conversation. I have Jay, my man. How you doing? You've gifted 5 memberships. Does this happen on any other United communities? Seriously, because I don't think there's nothing like it. It can't. There's no way. Ain't no way. Right. Let's get into this and let's talk about this, okay? Because there was... What I'm going to do now is I'm going to just close... I'm not going to close the comments. I'm just going to close the comments on my screen for the next probably 2 to 3 or 4 minutes, okay? I'm going to run through what happened yesterday in chronological order. And if I have the comments up on screen here, I'll get distracted. So I will come back to the comments in a couple of minutes. This is what happened. The Athletic released this article, Adam Crafton, saying that Manchester United have told senior staff that Mason Greenwood will return. And what happened then is, I think 4 minutes later, thereabouts, Manchester United released an official statement, which is this. And I've done my video on it yesterday. It was Manchester United explaining, look, we've conducted our internal investigation. That internal investigation is now complete. They're saying that there is more extensive evidence not in the public domain, which is something they reiterated twice, right there in the second paragraph, and also down here at the bottom, partial evidence. And I've look, right, this morning, this conversation around Mason Greenwood isn't going to be one that I want the comments to sort of descend into chaos and arguments about whether he should come back and whether he shouldn't come back. I think the conversation that I want to have this morning is slightly different to that. And I'll explain why in a second. But that was the article from The Athletic. And then basically the only reason this statement exists is because The Athletic did their own investigative work and journalism into the situation, and they kind of forced United's hand. I don't think that statement would have come from Manchester United had that article not existed. And then we go to today. Now, this is being said by the BBC, all right? which I found quite interesting. It's thought that United's direction of travel for Greenwood was for Greenwood to return in some form. But the fierceness of debate around his future, among other things, has made them pause. All right. And we can see here, the Manchester United Supporters Trust, they released a statement here. And it's going to be a place where United fans can submit their own comments on this Greenwood situation. And the concept here is that those comments would be collated by the Manchester United Supporters Trust and they will be sent to the club. Now, if you want more information on this, I would very much encourage you to read this article here from The Athletic. It really is the most in-depth article that I think that has been released on this Greenwood situation. And if you'd like to learn, you learn all the details and probably more details than you know about inside that article. Now, I'm going to go down to the comments in a second and I'm going to try and speak and try and have a conversation with you. It might not work, might not be able to really. There's one thing I want to say here, and this is, I think this is true anyway. No matter where you stand on this Mason Greenwood situation, whether you think he should come back, whether you think he shouldn't kick a ball for Manchester United again, which is my position. You know my position. Not exactly trying to hide it. Nothing you will say to me or tell me in the comments will change that concept. All right. And I've explained that why. And I don't need to do that again this morning. But Manchester United have handled this abysmally. Really, really badly when it comes to the leadership and the decision-making process. And I think this is something that all United fans can agree on, right? Whether you want Greenwood back or not. Like the way Man United have gone about this has just been shocking. Really, really bad. A lack of decision-making from the very top has allowed this to go on for so long. That's Kyle Anker from The Athletic saying, look, because in this article here from Adam Crafton, you go down here and say, 1 second there. As part of that plan for Greenwood's reintegration with the men's first team, Arnold intended to record a video explaining the decision that will be shared with both staff and to the general public. And as Carl correctly points out here, that is a coward's way of... That is a coward's way out. That really is. Richard Arnold's got to face the music on this. Now, I'm sure Richard Arnold's been hearing things in both ears, compelling arguments for and against. And as far as he's concerned now, it's not an easy decision to make. As far as I'm concerned, it's a very simple decision to make. And it should have been made a long time ago. And I would encourage you, if you would, go and read this thread here from Adam Crafton on Twitter, where he effectively explains what I just said there. The only reason that this statement came out from Manchester United here was as a direct consequence of this article and this work by The Athletic and by Adam Crafton. Man United were told about it in advance because then they have a right to respond. They decided not to respond. They decided to ask for that article to be delayed so that Man United could pull together a statement. And that was the statement that was released yesterday. As you go down here and you read that. So I'll go through it with you. The usual protocol is that go down here, start at the top of the thread. This morning, I approached United with a series of facts relating to their internal process on Greenwood. As journalists, we provide right of reply, which is what I explained there. Usual protocol is that a responder would respond to the journalist first and foremost, so any background or comment can be inserted into the story. On this occasion, we were asked to extend our deadline so the club could gather its response. And that's what Manchester United did. That statement yesterday was kind of forced and squeezed out of United. United would rather have just sat there in silence, still sat there in silence and not said anything and just let this situation continue to fester. But we've reached a point now where Manchester United have now released that statement yesterday. And we are awaiting the decision. Now, as far as what we've been told, Man United are going to be looking to reintegrate Mason Greenwood. Not just reintegrate Mason Greenwood, by the way. Bring him back into the first team fold straight away, immediately. Now, I'm going to go down here in the comments and I'm going to try my best to have a conversation around this. I don't know how easy it's going to be, but I'll try. There's a couple of super chats. I'll read these first. Christos saying you sent me an email on Greenwood. I'll read that after. Cliff, you sent me a super chat really early, by the way, but you never actually wrote anything, so I can't read that out. And you're saying, innocent or not, our club was built on the foundation of morals and standards, a real family. His return sullies us forever. Now, everyone in the comments knows that that's something I agree with. I do not want Mason Greenwood to kick a ball again for our club. And that the thing that will always keep repeating, well, there's two things that will keep repeating in my head that you know of. Number one, I've heard the audio tape, and like, somebody, honestly, please tell me, right? So we're seeing Manchester United here releasing this statement, right? There's extensive evidence and context not known in the public domain. What context can you possibly, what new evidence can you possibly give me that changes that audio tape? That changes what I will think about the audio tape? You can't. You can't. And that's why I'm so firm on my position. What are you saying down here, right? I'll try and read some of these comments out. Sam, if he does come back, will every one of you... one sec. If he does come back, will every one of your live streams be about how unhappy you are with his return? I don't know why you're trying to... It almost feels like you're trying to turn that into something trivial. Like, you are damn right I will be unhappy about his return. Like, of course I will be. And what a stupid comment. Man, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Jeez. Jeez. Connor, we don't know whether it's fake or not, the audio tape. I'm pretty sure you'd know by now. I'm pretty sure you know that by now. Andrew Giggs, we are a football club, not a high court or criminal court. We judge Greenwood by his performances on the field and not his personal life. I don't think you believe that. I believe you're just leaving that comment just to try and make people nibble, because there is no way you truly believe that about this football club. Oh, we got 11 murderers on the pitch, but they've all scored hat tricks. Hey, who cares that they've murdered? Come on, people. No one can surely think that. No one can. King Solomon, a majority of your subscribers want Greenwood back. Do they? I'm not. There's people saying, "I'll do a poll." You think I'm really doing a poll on this? Come on. Come on. Dave Curry saying, until the new evidence that made them drop the charges is released, we can't fully judge what went on. As I said, I'll be very surprised if new evidence is released that's going to change my opinion on it. Let's find out. And the fact that Manchester United still have not made a decision on this whole situation, just, man, it's been handled so poorly. It really has been handled so poorly. Loads of people down there saying, give the kid another chance. I don't disagree with that. Just go and do that at another football club. Have a second chance. I'm not saying that he should never kick a ball again, but he should never kick a ball again for Manchester United. That's a club that I care about. It's a club that's more than just a football club, right? People, you're not going to get a poll on Mason Greenwood, no matter how many times you fire that in the comments. There's no way I'm allowing that. Yeah, well, let's move on from it. As I said, I was going to start the show by speaking about it. I tried to engage in the comments, and it's difficult. It's difficult, all right? But the update yesterday was that the Athletic released this article saying that Manchester United are planning on Mason Greenwood returning to the squad. The club then released a statement, and the BBC are now saying, United are, maybe pausing and thinking about it because of the fierceness of the debate. I mean, what do you expect? What do you possibly expect? So now we go back to, I suppose the same situation that we were in yesterday morning, in that we're waiting for Manchester United to make their decision. Nothing's changed in that sense. But let's move on. As I fully expected, the comments are an absolute cesspit. And yeah, this is why Manchester United need to make a decision. Because the longer this goes on, the more toxic's probably the right word. I don't know what other word I could use to describe it, but it's mad. It's mad. What I'm going to try and do now is move on to speak about transfers, because of course the transfer window is still open. Manchester United need transfers. We saw against Wolves how poor our midfield was. Now I know that we all wanted Harry Maguire to leave, right? This summer. I think he was first on my list, right? He was first on my list. I had Dean Henderson down as number 2, or probably on my list, because that was 50 million at least between the two. But Harry Maguire leaving this summer and getting a new centre-back in wasn't, and still isn't, the bigger priority, right? A midfielder is the priority. If I was to ask you in the comments now, if you could choose between Manchester United, say for example, you want a poll, I'll give you a poll. You want a poll, I'll give you a poll. If United made one more signing this summer, right, what would you choose? I'm not asking you to choose between Gravenberch and Amrabat. I'm asking you to choose between a centre-back and a central midfielder. If United could only make one of those signings, which one would you choose? And I'll speak about these two now. So as frustrated as I am that Harry Maguire is staying, as long as Manchester United sign a central midfielder, because I don't think we can do this season with this current midfield setup. I think it's going to get exposed probably quite badly. I think teams will know. Wolves set up very well. We weren't at the races. Our fitness will be better. Our execution will be better in further games. I know that. But central midfield is that weak point, which is why and where, don't know what I mean there, which is why we're going to be having a conversation about these two now. Now, Amrabat is a conversation we've been having for a long old time. And I'll run through the latest on him. But now Gravenberch is part of this conversation. And it's exciting, I would say. I would say it's exciting. Both of these midfield signings would be exciting. I'm going to leave that poll down there and see what you're saying. But if United can only make one more signing this summer, which would you choose? 500 of you have voted in the first minute, and 90% of you are saying a central midfielder. And I'm in that 90%, right? Completely in that 90%. So as frustrated as I am, the Man United aren't going to be selling Harry Maguire unless something magical happens and someone else comes in. And, I don't know, maybe a compromise is found. Don't think it will. As long as we get that central midfield sorted, secured, and upgraded, then I'll be happy-ish. The centre-back, I didn't think the centre-back was going to be happening this summer. You know, the same way I didn't think the goalkeeper would be. It was kind of going to be accelerated. Let's speak about midfield, and let's speak about Amrabat first, because obviously this story broke yesterday from Fabrizio Romano. Look, Liverpool were being informed about Amrabat. Now, Liverpool, who of course tried to sign Caicedo and didn't get him. Tried to sign Lavia, didn't get him. And yesterday, got the here we go on, who was he? Waturu Ended. I think he's like 30, isn't he? But they've gone and signed. Oh, sorry. It is hilarious. Liverpool have gone out from signing Caicedo to Lavia to signing a 30-year-old from Stuttgart. Damn. Know your levels and all that. That's not exactly money related. Now, you might be worried about Amrabat and Liverpool, but I put it into the same bracket as when Arsenal were going after Martinez, going after Lissandro. And I remember the panic. So many people were panicking, going, "Oh no, I need to act fast. What if Arsenal come in?" It's like, dudes, Martinez will choose United all day long over Arsenal. Arsenal just wasting their time. Lo and behold, I was right. Now, I wouldn't put this completely in the same category because I think United wait too long and time is running out. 2 weeks now to the transfer window closes. Amrabat will and would move to Liverpool. But this dude wants United, man. This dude wants United. He's wanted United. As I said, he's sitting there. He's sitting there with his duvet cover. You know those duvet covers you have as a kid? Big old United badge on it. I remember having a little Premier League stickers on my drawers, like Dennis Irwin and stuff like that. Back in day, Amrabat wants United, man. Now, Jerry, you're saying we're too slow. Yeah, we are, but we know exactly why we're waiting. I don't really understand how the exit of Donny van der Beek is a necessity before we sign Amrabat. We've already got like 13 mil for. I know that we haven't got 13 mil in the books for Fred this summer because a lot of some of that's add-ons, XYZ. But 13 mil we sold Fred for, and Amrabat we're looking at around a 25 to 30 mil total package. It's not much, man. In the grand, jeez, give me that money. Anyway, it's not much in the grand scheme of things and football players and how much you spend. 25 to 30 mil is minor. Donny van der Beek, the last we heard is that Real Sociedad, well, he was linked with a move to Real Sociedad, and that kind of went a bit dead, went a bit quiet there. Scott McTominay, we've heard nothing since United turned down that £30 million bid from West Ham. Now, you might say, oh, my God, why, blah, blah. McTominay's not worth 30 mil, man. He is worth more than that in the market. United were right to turn that price down. You can't have a go at our club for being crap in the transfer market. Oh, why would we pay what we should be paying? It takes so long. And then United all of a sudden to undersell a player by like 10 to 15 mil, given Conor Gallagher was, I think there was a 45 million bid for him. And Gordon went from Everton to Newcastle for like 45 mil. But McTominay was worth more, so I understood why they... Anyway, I don't think McTominay's going to be leaving this summer now. I think he will stay, and I hope he is an asset for the squad, but I've been being totally honest. When Kobbie Mainoo comes back, and I suppose this is a question here about... I'm looking at... If you look at Amrabat and you look at Gravenberch, right? The profile of those players is far similar than the profile of Amrabat and Amadou Onana from Everton. He's more of a defensive midfielder like Wilfred Ndidi, someone who's like the cleaner upper, the sweeper, the enforcer, I suppose. Whereas someone like Amrabat's a playmaker, which is exactly what Gravenberch is. Gravenberch, I'll speak about him now, actually. I would love United. I would absolutely love United to sign Ryan Gravenberch. Gravenberch was, of course, correct me if I'm wrong, any Ajax fans in the comments. Gravenberch was effectively the replacement for Frankie de Jong from an internal perspective at Ajax. When de Jong left, Erik ten Hag went towards a midfield that had Edson Alvarez and this man, Ryan Gravenberch. Now, I'm not saying that he's de Jong, but he was kind of crafted into that mold of a player. I would love the idea of United signing both of these. But do you think that's genuinely... Do you think that's possible? That we sign both of them? Do you think it would be a smart thing? Do you think... Would you be able to keep both of them happy? Because Amrabat and Gravenberch, realistically, if you're looking at the position on the pitch, you're probably looking at the same position, right? That deeper lying role. Would United really be able to have Casemiro, Amrabat, and Gravenberch? I mean, from a squad perspective, you're like, well, hell yeah, man. Casemiro, Amrabat, and Gravenberch all day long. But I think as a manager, Erik ten Hag would struggle to keep those three players happy with the amount of game time that he'd be able to give to them. I'm going to go down and read a few of your comments out down here. Gravenberch can play in different positions. Amrabat's more of that deeper line midfielder. But then Kobbie Mainoo, when Kobbie Mainoo comes back, I know that we've seen Kobbie Mainoo play in the deeper number 6 role. But I think you're probably likely to see Kobbie Mainoo over the next year or two. You're going to see him far more often playing as a number 8, playing further forward than you are seeing him as that holding number 6. I think Erik ten Hag was basically not testing him, but seeing how he could cope in that position. Because in the youth teams, Kobbie Mainoo's best performances came with the aggressive number 8. More towards bringing the ball forward into the opposition's half rather than being that sweeper and defender. I'm going to go down. Do you think it's possible that we sign? Because from a financial perspective, it's definitely possible we sign both, by the way. Amrabat for 25 to 30 mil, plus Gravenberch on loan from Bayern Munich with an option or maybe an obligation to buy. I think that's possible. I really think that is possible. Let's go down here. I'm going to read a few of your comments. Level of support shows the degradation of society. Well, I'm not going to try and get into the macro conversation of society. And geez, be here for about 400 hours and I might end it all. Showtime twin. We need both a centre-back and a central midfielder. Fingers crossed. Hey, look, if we're being dreamy, yeah, we're going to sign a right-sided centre-back. We're going to sign another powerful central midfielder. We're going to sign probably another striker and probably another goalkeeper so that Dean Henderson can be shipped out. But realistically, that's not all going to happen, right? Can't believe we weren't in for Renato Sanchez. I think he's gone to, was it Roma? Like Mourinho's finally got Renato Sanchez. Nah, I don't think Renato Sanchez went. He's a good player, man. He is a good player. But I would prefer both of these signings to Renato Sanchez. I'm Potato. How you doing, buddy? Should try a 5 million loan fee with obligations for both and put it on next year's books. Got to be cheeky sometimes. It happens a few times, doesn't it? In modern football, that players are signed on loan. Who is it? Did Gonzalo Ramos just join PSG on loan? Gonzalo Ramos joins PSG. That sometimes up here, I do have a little bit of knowledge. Yeah. So PSG signed Gonzalo Ramos on loan this summer, and then they're going to pay for him next summer. Therefore, the accounts this summer. And football's become some mad, how good are you at cooking your books sort of vibe. Like the way that you're putting transfers in and numbers in this box and pushing numbers to that box over there. It's, right. Raya to Arsenal as well. That's a good point. Yes, it's weird. It's like organized crime. Someone's going to get done for tax evasion. That's how they're going to get him. Anyway, let's speak about Gravenberch. Right? Because these are the stories that came out yesterday. I'll be honest. I'm surprised these took until the 17th of August. I'm pretty sure before the season ended, we were like, Gravenberch, it makes perfect sense. Bully, what you do? How can you possibly not like this t-shirt? What a wonderful t-shirt. Somebody said it looks like lederhosen earlier. Jawohl. I like it. Don't care if you don't like it. Anyway. Foot Mercato from France. Are they France? I think they're French. Yeah, look pretty French to me. Saying United and Liverpool have both reactivated their interest in Gravenberch. And Alfredo Padula, who, of course, led on the Onana story, then was a little bit keen on the Højlund story. So he kind of lost a little bit of credibility. But I'm just going to see what he's saying here. He's saying that Manchester United have opened those talks, well, initial talks. Basically, pick it up. Is Gravenberch available? Loan or permanent deal? What are you saying? Those are basically the conversation. I'm sure it's not exactly that. But Jack Raya, you like the shirt. I like you, Jack. Got some supporters down here. Some people love me. Gravenberch would be perfect. I really I wouldn't like to say off the top of my dome, if I had to choose one, which one would I choose? Because I think that genuinely is a really difficult conversation. Amrabat would have the experience, and Amrabat would Amrabat would just be a very good signing. And then Gravenberch. Of course, Amrabat played with Ten Hag before Utrecht, but Gravenberch, he's got his whole career ahead of him, man. What is he now? 20? 21? Must be 21, I reckon. Oh, look. 21. He's got his whole career ahead of him. And when he left Ajax with a seriously good reputation. The only reason it's all gone muted is because he joined Bayern Munich. And he's hardly played. Both of them would be fantastic signings. They really, really would be. And I feel you type yes or no. Do you feel confident? I don't know who it's going to be, but do you feel confident that United will sign a central midfielder? Yes or no? We've got 2 weeks to do it. Because I feel pretty confident that we will. I don't know who that midfielder is going to be. Look, we've got Amrabat, we've got Gravenberch, we've got Onana, whose name's been thrown into the hat. I don't think it's going to be him because we're not selling Scott McTominay. I think if we had sold Scott McTominay, we would have had money for Onana, but I don't think we do. You see what you're saying down here? Jonathan, we will sign a midfielder, but maybe not who we all think. Mysterious. Stephanie, you're saying yep. Nick, you're saying yes. Plenty of you saying yes. If I go down here and do a quick, I reckon it's about 75-20, 80-20. 80-20, I would say. You think that we will sign a midfielder. If I go back to the poll earlier, got 1,200 votes. Can I say now, there's 800 of you that have voted but have not liked the video. If you can take 1 second now, drop a like on the video, and then come back into it. I much appreciate that. 89% of you on the poll are saying that if United were going to sign one more player this summer, and only one, it would have to be a central midfielder over a centre-back, and I completely agree. What else are we saying down here in the comments? Jack, you're saying if sales don't happen, can we still get 1 or 2 in? That's why I'm confused as to the Amrabat delays, because it's not much of an outlay. It feels like we could afford Amrabat without having to wait for Van de Beek to leave. Feels like that. Maybe it's just United are just nervous. We're just going to get a bloated squad and we just can't get rid of players. And we're getting rid of one for free, apparently, next. V33, you're saying, look, I don't see eye to eye with you on Mason Greenwood, but each their own. On a lighter note, is it okay to laugh at Arsenal and their Timber situation? Dude, honestly, and I truly mean this, I'm not laughing at that Arsenal situation with Timber. I feel for the kid, man. I really do. I would have loved him at United. I think he would have been an incredible signing. And 50 minutes into his Premier League debut, all the work in his career to that point to get to the biggest league in the world, and goes and does his ACL, and he basically misses the whole first season. I feel for him. I would be devastated if that happened to a Manchester United player. So, no, I wouldn't laugh at that, if I'm being totally honest. Let me see what else you're saying in the comments down here. Casemiro doesn't have the legs to cope with the pace of the Premier League. I think he did last year in how Manchester United played. Because Manchester United played in a 4-2-3-1. We played with 2 midfielders. He had a partner in midfield. Now, that partner was Eriksen a lot of the time, and that just didn't work in games where the pace was at its peak, where the Premier League was at, when you're playing Liverpool, and you're playing Arsenal, you're playing City, and the pace was too fast for them. But now that we're switching to this, maybe we're not really switching formations, but probably if you look at us when we're lining up, we're still lining up in a 4-2-3-1. But as the game goes on and we go into possession, we tuck into that 3-1-6 shape. It's aggressive, but it leaves that one midfielder isolated. I've done my video yesterday. Let me pull this up. I'll pull the thumbnail up anyway. I did. Where is it? Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. Whoop. There it is. I did this video, right? That video there, where I ran through the Wolves game and I pulled out different examples. I was like, this is a problem. Casemiro was a problem against Wolves. His positional discipline wasn't there. His fitness didn't look there. He kept getting caught out in the wrong place, and it left Wolves with his big old free run at our defense. However, Bruno and Mount played too aggressive. I mean, on the one hand, they didn't play too aggressive because United won the ball back so much in the opposition's half, but our attackers and this was the other issue, Rashford, Antony, and Garnacho all collectively had stinkers. Which I don't think is going to happen many more times this season. There's going to be games where one of your attackers has a bit of a stinker, but the others are playing properly. But against Wolves, Garnacho, Rashford, and Antony all had absolute stinkers at the same time. So combining that with a midfield where Casemiro wasn't 100% fit and Casemiro was out of position, it just all the problems sort of came to fruition. Not came to fruition. All the problems just sort of like merged together into that performance. And we still managed to win and keep a clean sheet. Onana was massively responsible for that clean sheet, in my opinion. And we kind of got away with one, but we got away with one. But geez, they have got to work on that. What are you saying down here in the comments? Red G, you're saying that 3-1-6 isn't working. Not only Casemiro's alone, our attack is also too crowded. No, the attack's not too crowded, man. That's the whole concept of it. It's the overloads. That's how you win the ball high up the pitch. The 3-1-6 absolutely will work. And Ten Hag's not going to go away from it. I said it in the preseason that I think we're going to be switching and seeing this more prevalently. And we've seen it in the first game. Ten Hag has been working on this all preseason, which kind of makes it a little bit worrying how unfit they looked in that game. Garlic Bread Man, you're saying, just want to say 21 is coming. 21. Hey, look. De Bruyne is out for the season. Well, not the season, but for a few months. Timber's out for the season. Man United maybe signing another one, maybe two midfielders. Still got Højlund to come and make his debut. Maybe 21 is coming. I don't think it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. You can allow yourself to dream. It's a hope that kills you. Football does it every single bloody year. Even if we've been crap for the last 10 years, you still somehow come into the season with a little bit of optimism that maybe things will change. And things haven't changed for a long time. Let me see what you are saying down there in the comments. Kevin De Bruyne gone means Cyborg may starve. Man, that goal he scored in that first game, man. How did he do that? Just out of nowhere, just pulled an absolute rifle of a shot in off the crossbar from, I don't know what the XG was on that, but it couldn't be that high. It wasn't exactly an easy chance. It wasn't really a goal-scoring opportunity, but he just turned it into a goal. Freak of nature he is. My God, he is going to break all the records. Javier with the cool comment. 2008 Hargreaves would serve us well. Man, I think we've had this conversation before, haven't we? Like, if you could go back and have that one United player whose United career was sort of ruined by injuries, who would you go back and change so they didn't have their injuries? Hargreaves is always a name that comes up. Luis Saha is another name that comes up. Who else would you have? You have another comment. I think it's a really cool question. The general is saying, how about Wan-Bissaka tucks in and Shaw attacks in instead? The general, Wolves played a very smart game. They overcrowded Luke Shaw to the point where Manchester United had no alternative but to go down Wan-Bissaka's side because they know that possession and build-up wise, Wan-Bissaka's weaker than Shaw. So by forcing that, they took a little bit of our strength away. So I think even if, thinking about it now, actually, it's kind of the reason why Garnacho didn't have that good a performance. He was very isolated. Phil Jones is a name down there if they didn't get injured. Alan Smith, man, I always remember that. I think it was John Arnorisa with the free kick? Is that what did his leg? I think it was. I can't remember. When is Højlund fit to make his debut, says Nuri? I think it's supposed to be Arsenal. So what, we've got 2 more games before Højlund's fit. Got Spurs away in Nottingham Forest at home. I think that's the plan. Anyway. Not sure. Norman Whiteside. Jeez. Veron. Veron, man. Dion Dublin. Anderson. Jeez. Man. That was funny. Do you remember that interview that I think after we won the title and then Ronaldo interviewed Anderson and he just couldn't speak any English? I swear there was someone eating McDonald's chips in the background as well. Bully, yes, I did watch the England match yesterday. Congratulations to England for reaching the World Cup final. And Ella Toon, take a boo. Take a bow indeed. What a goal that was from Ella Toon. Hopefully England can win it. Imagine that. England's European and World Cup champions at the same time. Whew. Sinead, you're saying that Bruno was worse than Casemiro against Wolves? No, I don't think he was. But nobody really put in. I think Wan-Bissaka had a performance that was commendable. He was probably man of the match. I think Varane played pretty well. I'm not just saying for the goal. I think he played pretty well overall too. I think it was Wan-Bissaka, Varane, and Onana, I think, were the three that sort of stood out as, they're pretty decent performances. The rest of them, you're just arguing over different shades of shit, really. It was not a good performance from that team. We really kind of got away with it. We did get away with it. We got 3 points. But still, there's been a big sense of frustration this week. And I suppose it's probably mainly about midfield. That's why these two are really important. Last couple of minutes of the show. It's a little bit of a shorter show today than normal, I suppose, because I don't know why. I only really wanted to focus on speaking about these two and Mason Greenwood, which we have done. Last couple of minutes of the show, you can ask me what you want, fire in your questions, and I'll try and answer as many as I can. Fizz, that's a cool message, saying that 13 months as a member. Man, I say it every day. I love this community. I'm very, very proud of what I've built. And I genuinely think we're only getting started. And I'm not just saying that. Like, United have been absolutely crap for so many years. I'm laughing about it because I'll cry otherwise. I've been so crap. And we're finally looking like we're heading in the right direction. Obviously, the ownership situation, once that is resolved too, it's good, man. It's good. Jonathan, do you think the British quota had anything bad at all to do with the chase? Are you talking about homegrown talent? I think that may have been part of it, but I also think that Manchester United expected to sell Maguire and McTominay this summer, and they would have been two homegrown players that went off our books. I think Brandon Williams would be two. Who was the other ones? Might have been some others too. I think if all of those sales had gone through, then we would have been close to that quota. At least you can see the funny side of it, Kevin. All right. Ricky, who's your favorite player of all time, both for United and elsewhere? Genuinely, my favorite player for United is Solskjaer, which is what made that whole, man, that's taking you back to a darker time for United. Yeah, Solskjaer, because I was a bang average footballer. I stopped playing when I was like 12, 13 because my team disbanded and I just never joined another one. Solskjaer was a super sub, so I could relate to him. I wasn't particularly super. I was a sub, so I at least had half in common with him. Yeah, Solskjaer for me. What are you saying down here? Apparently, I missed a super chat. Let me go up here and make sure I read this. It's just hate. It's just hate for Arsenal. Nothing against the kid. Curious, why aren't other clubs applying for? Because that strategy V3-3 is absolutely stupid, and you can't even do it according to you. What if you're in the Champions League? Huh. Anyway, you can't. The reason that Chelsea handed out those contracts straight away was to try and get around FFP by splitting the player amortization over an extra 3 years. That was why they did them. Now, UEFA changed that rule. The Premier League hasn't quite changed that rule yet. I hope it. You know how we're getting stung right now with the Harry Maguire contract situation because he's going to a club he'll be on less wages. He's demanding a payoff, blah, 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 blah. I hope, let's hope and pray that in 18 months' time, sod knows, 2 years' time, so many of those Chelsea players that they spent ridiculous amounts of money on, they want to leave and it's falling out. And all of a sudden, they hold Chelsea to account for 6 years' worth of wages. Oh, that'll be some payoff. And there's a lot of them. Sod knows how many signings they made. James Bowie is saying, Sam, my wife wants to know how old you are, mate. I think you need to treat your wife better because you shouldn't be asking that. I'm young-ish. I'm 34. It's a great age. Great age. Great age. What else are you saying down here in the comments? It's nice to finish on a slightly light... Well, I said... How have I managed to do that? It's nice to finish on a slightly lighter note. And then someone's just told me that Parky's died. That's sad. I used to love it. And if you get the chance, go to YouTube and watch some Parkinson interviews. He was fantastic. Rest in peace. Is he down? Make sure I'm checking that first. Yeah. Damn, he has died. Man, he's done so many wicked interviews. I remember his Muhammad Ali interview. Jerry, you look 22. The lights are being kind to me today. I'll be honest. The lights are being kind to me. Amiri disagrees and calls me 40. Sod you. Yeah. Go and watch some Parkinson interviews today. I might go and watch one after this. No, actually, I'll do some more work. I've still got the lunchtime video to do. Thank you all for tuning in. I know the Greenwood situation. I want to finish on a note, finish on a conversation here, a conversation point. I despise the club's handling of this situation. And that's one thing we can all agree on. Whether you're pro Greenwood playing for United again or whether you're not. That's not an argument I'm having now. I'm very, very disappointed how Manchester United have handled this and how they've allowed this situation to come to where it is. And there has to be accountability for that. And that's why I commend The Athletic for releasing that article yesterday and for basically forcing United to release this statement. United would have stayed silent. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. All right. I'll be here tomorrow morning, as always. Make sure you please do drop a like on the video. I'll be here at lunchtime today. I'm going to go probably my Spurs 11, I think, will go out today because the game's in a couple of days. I always like to give 2 days for you to watch the video and leave your predictions and all that jazz. Thank you all for tuning in. Best community in the world. I'll see you soon. It's a great top.